For an old lady.
What?
An old lady? For an old lady. It's fine. For an old lady.
I know I need a Mr. Gill, are you hearing this? Look at that. I should send him.
What was the bell?
Fortnite video.
The Fortnite video.
So for the recording, we just did the bell work. I don't know where. Oh, did we? Yeah. We just did the bell work. I was absent yesterday, so I missed the even day. So we're not doing a whole lot today, but just kind of a review lesson more than anything. So whether or not anybody even watches this, the bell work we just did.
I didn't do that. She literally shot the picture that I showed.
Wow.
John, she did that. She did that.
That sounds racial.
No, I said
It's only a subject.
I said it.
Did Mr. Pack tell you that?
No, she didn't say John Boston.
No.
Oh, there it is. So we just did that bell work. We actually solved for X this time, though, instead of just setting it up. Oh. All right, so here we go. All right, so solve for one variable. Oh, one angle, I'm sorry. So we did that for bell work one day also. That one's more complex than what we did for the bell work, I won't tell you that. So you need to know how to solve for one angle in a regular polygon. What else is in there? Draw a blank. I just looked that up. Last.
What did you do? I didn't. Did you say that they can suggest that's what you talked about to me.
Yeah.
I did.
Shoot. What else have we done? There's only 4 questions. There's not a lot.
Oh, I remember.
That's
We did.
that's 3 of them right there.
Well, I remember that we did.
Oh, exterior angles.
You were rock climbing?
Yeah, that's on the.
I'm hoping that's your boys. When you
sure you did. No, after church. Go out. Okay. Well, this you can't do someone did.
So that's your third type of question. So it's only 4 questions. That's it. So there shouldn't be any reason. Well, that's the type of question. 2 questions that are in one of them. It's like yeah, one of them is really easy, one of them is really hard, but it still falls in another category. So no, that's you've learned all that. All of that we've done. We moved on to parallelograms. The parallelogram stuff that we already started. We're gonna do today.
Oh, that's what you were talking about. I thought we
for that. We've already learned it. I'm giving you a worksheet for it. It's a super. I mean, I'm gonna do like. I'm gonna do it in like 2 minutes. Everybody got that? Leave it on screen. All right. So here's what we did last class. We got into parallelograms. There are, I think it was 7 maybe theorems that I said you could memorize, or you just understood where they came from So you really don't have to memorize anything. And they all came from what concept? That he had done way, way back. What concept was it? I drew it up for you on the sides. Probably still drawn up somewhere. Yeah. Parallel lines and transversal. Everything, all those congruence marks, and I could put other congruence marks in there. Every single congruence mark or pair of congruence marks comes from the fact that we're dealing with two parallel lines and a transversal somewhere. Yeah. So we said, and I'm going to get rid of the congruence marks for now, and we'll put them back in. These are really just parallel lines here, and then you would have to know that they're parallel. So those are just parallel lines, and then that would be the transversal on that side. Or you could say that would be the transversal on that side. Or you could say those are the two lines. You could say those are the parallel lines, and the other two are the transversal. But it creates a situation where you only have two different angles, just like it did when we did that before. So when you go through and solve and figure out what the angles could be, the only thing you had to know, like the only memorization, you need to know the theorem. You need to know one of the three theorems, either alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, or corresponding angles. Those are all congruent. And those allowed us to go from one little corner where we were able to figure out all the angles in one corner, and that allowed us to jump to another corner, or to jump to another corner over there. So no matter where I draw a line, if I say, what is that called? That was cool. What is that called? Yeah, better. What? It literally is. I think it's called a diagonal. Well, it's called a diagonal. It's not called a diagonal line, although that's where that comes from. That is a diagonal. So when they say something, because you may get something where you need to know some of the definitions, I'll never ask you to like define a diagonal, but they may say if the two diagonals of a parallelogram are this and this, what is, X or something like that. You need to understand, if there's no picture, what a diagonal is. Diagonal is from one vertex to the opposite vertex, the diagonal. And we said if we draw in a diagonal, it's just like a transversal also. We still have a top and bottom line that's parallel, and then that's a transversal. Or we still have a left and a right line that's parallel, and that's would mean that we have all kind of congruent angles. That's congruent to that. You are so lucky I don't feel like doing the rolling the dice today, because you would be gone.
Yep.
Yeah, be gone today. Let you know. Not in the mood for it, but I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. And well, there's no warnings. Like, police it. You guys police it on your own, because once you've had one warning, there won't be the second, third, fourth warnings today. I'm just not in the mood for it. So you're getting away with it today, because we're not really doing anything. So those would be congruent because of alternate interior angles. Either you could say, well, if these are the two parallel lines here, and I cross it, and that's congruent with that, and that's congruent with that, or same way here. If this is the parallel line and that's the parallel line, then it still works out the same way. So what winds up happening, we said, and then I'll let you work on the worksheet, you have a whole bunch of congruent stuff. This is what you're going to use for your worksheet. And here's the big part of the worksheet. The math is easy. You need to write the reason. So there are 7 theorems or whatever in your book pages. You need to write the theorem that allows you to solve. So for example, I think it says something like, opposite sides are congruent. So if they give you a problem where the opposite sides are where you have the information basically, and you use that to solve. The important part of that is writing that opposite sides are congruent. Opposite angles are congruent. What about consecutive angles? What's true about these two angles? Well, what's true about the two I put up there since they're not across from? What's true about them? Yes, if they're not congruent, which hopefully you can tell those are not congruent. This is bigger than 90, that's less than 90. They have to add up to 180. And we proved that out last time. I'm not going to go back through the whole proof thing. Again, you have to memorize stuff, memorize it. But opposite angles are congruent. Consecutive angles add up to 180. Always, no exceptions for a parallelogram. So, when you draw in, like some of the problems have diagonals drawn in, we said that just creates a bunch of congruent triangles. That is congruent to that. And this is congruent to this. They're not the same. Notice they're not all four congruent to each other. So that's one of the ones. Basically, the diagonals bisect each other. I'm not even sure which. I don't think I have that theorem, so you'll have to look that theorem up in your pages. Yeah, so it's on the other. I don't. Yeah, I did not put that in there. You see, so this is what I'm talking about. The math is pretty easy on this. The quiz will not be this easy. Quiz is going to be next week. I'm probably gonna. I don't know. I really want to get back to doing the quizzes on Monday, but if I'm pushing this one all the way back to Friday, I don't know when we'll put. Well, I'll have to figure that part out. I can't really cram them in too fast because I didn't see second period, the even classes yesterday. So yeah, so whatever. So if you have something about diagonals, again, that'll be the ones on the other page. So make sure you write in what is the reason that you can say that. And you will need to do some memorization for this. I think that's all we're going to do. So solve for the variables or the angle, whatever they're asking you to solve for, and make sure you understand that you are working to memorize the 7 different. Some of them are pretty easy. The opposite side, again, the same way is pretty easy. Oh, the answers are in the back, so you can check your answers and once you do problems. And don't waste today. I mean, like, again, I get that it's an easy day when I don't feel well and I'm not doing a lot, but you have a quiz on Friday, so if you want to practice for that, practice for that. You will have an exit ticket on this, which will probably be easy, but the quiz on this won't be as easy. So make sure you understand this stuff today. What we do on Friday will be a little tougher. I'll definitely be here tomorrow. I made it today. This was dumb for me to leave today.
Yeah.
Well, it's dumb because I felt like I would be 2 days behind if I missed it.
He's getting warm. Chill out.
Missing one lesson, 2 days.
He wouldn't stop complaining, so I gave him mine.
We can add that.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem.
Oh. Yeah. Every time I talk about her, everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, it's so weird." She feels like that thing.
Our second line.
Mr. New.
Yeah.
Didn't you like skipped over her?
What do you have to say?
I'm like, oh, my.
What's that theorems on?
One of the only ones that might be.
Please. It was really Bayer. We just found out they changed like a bunch of stuff. Like they changed how they said like you didn't have the right to spell things. Now they're right here. Like well, watch the video you guys. Yeah, they haven't done it.
That's fine.
Wow.
That's what it's saying.
All right, so again, I don't want to see you on your phones if you haven't done work yet. And if I see that happening, you'll lose the ability to use it later. Make sure you get work done first. Oh, that's what I do.
What the theory is possible.
Well, I don't have, I'll put the ones that I have, but I don't have all of them, so you have to like go up anyway.
I just spoke to you and you said nothing to me, so that really. Thank you. Well, you got the fear of reasoning. It's not. No, number two is 7. Oh, number 2 is what's forward.
There you go.
You said yes, it is.
Well, because we haven't seen you all week.
We haven't seen you all week. So you're not doing any math. It's.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
That means they're doing. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, you didn't know.
18%.
That was 17.
It's just. It's not like.
Remember, your quiz is Friday if you want to study for that instead. I gave you this just in case you were done with all that other stuff. I don't think a lot of you are done. You haven't been here, so I know you're not done with it. This is not the quiz Friday. Know it? All right. I make sure I knew how to do stuff for the quiz Friday. I mean, it's not. I'll tell you right now. I don't think it's a very difficult quiz.
This the front L we work.
Well, you're gonna want to know it. Yeah. And I'm not gonna ask you what are the 7 theorems, but I may ask you to explain something. And the explanation would be knowing the theorem. Like why can you solve for x in the column below? That's what theorem.
Oh, that's what you meant by right. Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant like. No, I'm already. It
Has to have opposite sides parallel. I started looking through IXL. I can't remember if I put any IXLs in there or not. There are some in there, so I'll get them in my plan in there. Might as well do it now, I guess.
We're not all living this stuff like with each other. Yes. That's 3. Yeah.
And the 4.
Italy.
There's a thing that is it possible times?
Same thing with these things.
Numbers. Yeah, it's. Yeah.
Hey, that's a ticket. But good on you for knowing it.
Optics, groups accounts,
Number 2 is not so persistent. So number 2 is not so
Number
persistent.
2 is
nothing.
nothing.
Yes. It has nothing to do with it was a circle size. Oh. Right.
it's the writing.
Yeah.
Because it says it.
It was it's not. It's.
But it is saying.
And he was talking about it.
So this is a little.
So I'll just tell you right now that the more I'm thinking about it, you may have another quiz on Monday.
Oh, exciting.
So this, otherwise, we're going to be doing so much new material that's not even going to wind up being on your quizzes. It's going to be confusing. So I think we'll probably do 2 parallelogram quizzes. Do the first parallelogram quiz Monday. So polygons on this Friday. Your first parallelogram, which will be like the easiest problems on Monday, and then you'll do probably the following Monday. We'll do the bigger. So you'll have a quiz on Friday and Monday. Oh, I think those are supposed to be the stop. I think those are supposed to be the angles. So they didn't put the degree symbol. Yeah, there's no way you'd be able to do it. So it looks like they're not putting degree symbols. So if it's inside the figure, it's about the angles. So
They put an angle symbol for one of them, but not the other.
yeah, that's a big no-no. But yeah,
You should report them. You should.
Math police.
Sure.
Actually, that's a pretty reputable company. We use a lot of their stuff, so I'm surprised they did that. They put it on some of the stuff on when it's just numbers.
Wait, technically, these are all 4-sided. With 180s and minus. Here's the property. 180 is just on opposite sides. So there's something we're using there. It's all That's just sorry, not these 180. Well, for the sided.
Right. 7, you don't have to solve this, right? You just have to look at the narrows.
Really?
You have to solve this. It says solve for X. So,
Yeah.
oh, and then say.
You definitely, that's the concept. Math, right? That should be fine. Same concept there. Actually, it's all. Alright, so. Yeah, 103 minus.
Well, it doesn't look like there's anything special about them math-wise, so yeah.
Yeah, 9.
Just make sure you check if it says solve for an. I didn't read to see if it said solve for X or solve for an angle, but make sure you read.
So smart.
I'm an 80. I can tell this was a middle color when you said, well, I'm going to skip the rest of these problems.
You go with the next.
My sister. Oh, it's kind of seven too. So. No, I mean 15. You just have to equal to. Or no, it's. Oh, they got answers here.
Would you say the edge?
Oh,
This is.
I guess 3.8. 3.8.
This is like.
I did 59.
This is like a good.
Wait. 59 minus 13. Minus 13. 59 minus 13.
Minus.
It's plus 13.
what the heck?
Oh, it was just.
Oh, I was right. I was right on. Oh, I used to want calculator. Oh, when I forgot the math. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. I know.
You ignore me.
I was listening. Mine said what I said. She said, "Oh my God, just remember when you said I was so."
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah, but I didn't get it.
Whatever.
Oh.
You even on that like answers on the back, they don't use the. Because they're not even text. Do you want to see about stop motion? But there should. Well, it's not stop. Like number 2 should have an angle.
Actually, no.
We know that was fine there.
I don't understand.
That's so good.
How is it? It's confusing. What's the difference?
I can't spell things.
7.
Every time.
What did you do? 12.
So X equals 12.
Sorry. For 8, that's what you were 7.
X equals 9.
Yeah. You're both wrong. What are you on? Bro, the answer for really entirely. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Mr. Gill,
Are you
wait?
Is it 9? Okay.
It's actually not oatmeal. It's empty.
I know. I feel like that is 8.5.
Just have it to itself.
8.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Are these what are equals? I think. What are you looking?
So yeah, basically,
No.
they don't. I guess you know.
Oh, you're still on that page. Yeah. How? I just think those are angles because it's on the interior. They're dumb. They should put angles
On the back.
Like
That may be focused on
it just huh? I see this.
Yeah. Let's see.
What did it want today? He got into something.
Are you in the
But I went and I was looking for you to buy some tea.
Oh, that's nice.
And actually.
I would tell you.
I think that one is 7.4.
Said that.
That's still real. I'm like.
At least
I mean, like, I don't
but on that.
If you're smart, you don't have to do math.
How?
Yeah, it's.
I was literally sitting there for like an hour.
Oh, where am I? Like, so that was like, I first.
Okay.
I think
12 is 7.6. Angles square.
I don't think I have any myself.
I hate to get it already.
Bro, this one. I'll be sitting.
That's
Hit the brake, I'm in the car, but it was like a flying car, so it's we don't have to sell.
They're like, I'm not even making think about it.
It's like getting them out.
Like artistics, like
Yeah.
little. Like, Kevin, what are you doing? I don't know. McKenna has.
X equals 0.
And T.
How am I supposed to do
It was supposed to be zero. And
Why don't you look at the answers?
It is.
Look at the,
Answers.
like, what would X have to be for the be equal?
You're right there.
That's, like I said, the math, I didn't love the math on it, but it's more for you to learn the properties.
What kind of learning properties?
The last page is a little better, the last two pages, the problems get, be a little trickier. So if you want to just skip to 13, the first 12 are pretty easy, but 13 through 24 are a little bit trickier. I just assigned a bunch of IXLs too. If you're struggling, you can try those on your own.